Hey, what's going on, Trojan family? What is up, and welcome to the USC LAFB show. I'm your host, Ryan Dyrud. Big news, as always, in Trojan land. 2 more commitments coming through for the good guys. Yesterday, 5-star cornerback out of Ohio, Elbert Hill, officially commits. I said on the show a few days ago, he was the name I was most looking for to potentially commit this week. And officially, he did. Shortly, the day after. So, amazing commitment for USC. I was going to hop on yesterday when it happened and, talking to people and just kind of a little gut feeling. I had a feeling that another one was coming. So, I was like, you know what, I'll wait a little bit, then I can pop on, talk about both, not bore you guys with 2 separate ones. Although everyone is engaging, which is amazing. So I appreciate that, as always. Trojan fans have been good to me. It's been great. But lo and behold, this morning, Saturday, I was like, all right, I waited long enough. Got to get on and talk about Elbert Hill. We wrote about it a bit, but got to talk about it because this is huge. This is another big 5-star commitment from Ohio. Family loves it. He said he's, just feels like home coming here. I know that's been the theme of everyone saying that. And everyone kind of says that in their recruiting, but it certainly feels that way. The way this kind of train is rolling. Lo and behold, then this morning, I wrote a prediction article last night that Luc Weaver, 4-star wide receiver out of Sherman Oaks, California, local kid, prediction that he would commit. Lo and behold, this morning, he sure does. Hayes Fawcett breaks it on 3. We get all the coaches' bat signals going out. So Luc Weaver becomes the 4th commitment this week. And I still don't think they are done. There's a lot of big names out there that are trending USC. I'm not necessarily saying it'll happen this week. But with 27 commitments now, 8 away from their goal of 35, this thing isn't stopping yet. Here we are in May. I'm hoping by kind of July, the class is filled. Again, in this world of college football, I wouldn't be shocked if a couple end up decommitting or flipping, but I feel very confident that when it's said and done, this class is going to remain 95% intact all the way till signing day. We're not going to see a kind of big flip or decommitment kind of like we did a string of last year. I don't think we're going to see that. And I've said many times, so I don't want to go into length about why, but this is just, a different strategy they're employing, different use with NIL they're employing, obviously a whole new staff that they're employing and have the ability. The coaching staff outside of a few hires is relatively similar, but the whole front office is brand new since, January, when Bowden was hired and then brought on the rest of his staff. And I just don't think... I don't know if people realize, and not saying everyone, I'm sure many of you astute listeners do, but maybe many on the outside, I don't think realize how impactful the front office hires are when it comes to recruiting. Because when you're a coach, especially right now in May, this is like a coach, basically you have the January and the May are the 2 travel times for recruiting. The rest is all done kind of via, phone and text and whatnot. So this is really the period where the coaches shine. They're in the living rooms. They're going to the practices. They're at the facility. They're meeting with the high school coaches. So this is truly coaches recruiting. But when you're in season or in spring camp and you're coaching your current team, there's only so much time in a day to allocate to recruiting. And, obviously coaches, will spend certain time, checking out on guys, shooting a phone call here. But the front office, Chad Bowden and his team, their sole purpose is staying connected and building relationships with these kids. And so I think that, on top of a lot of else that I've talked about with this class and why I really feel confident that the vast majority will make it all the way to signing day, aside from the NIL, the money, aside from how they're allocating it, giving some up front, but kind of contractually making ways to where guys can't back out in a way. They're not, real contracts, but there's certain stipulations you can put. Aside from all that, you actually have like a team of people continually checking. I remember when Hayden Lowe decommitted, local kid, Oaks Christian, ends up decommitting, going to Miami. I think a lot of it was NIL related. I said that when it happened. I know many of you have said that. I've commented that. So I think that was the main thing. But what he said, we got to take it for some truth, is that he felt not unloved, but felt less like a priority with USC, and Miami was continually pushing for him. And he felt like USC, once he committed, kind of just like let him fall to the wayside. Whether that's true or not, that won't be the case anymore, because you have a team in the front office with Chad Bowden that are continually making these guys known that they are a priority. Nonstop. Relentless. And you have like the kids in this class that are doing that. The Brandon Lockharts, the Sean Alstons, like the Deshaun Rideaux. Like these guys are continually communicating with each other. Eason Taffa I see all the time. So, I mean that's a big part of it too. So, anyway, I do quickly. Elbert Hill, I think this is a huge one. Becomes the third blue chip cornerback in this class, joining R.J. Sermons and Brandon Lockhart. Number one player in the state of Ohio. He's the number one corner on Rivals rankings, and he's the number, I believe, the fourth ranked corner on On3's industry rankings. So whatever you look at it, top 5 corner in the country. And in On3's industries, he's one behind Sermons and I think 3 above Lockhart. So you got 3 corners in the top 8 or whatever. It's pretty impressive, with still Devon Benjamin and Brandon Arrington out there as potential. Now, we'll see now with this third one in this class. And you also have, Madden Riordan, and you have the other Boss Scout kid that right now I'm drawing a blank on his name, but another great. Here, I'll just find it here before I move on. I have all these things in front of me and too many names. This is great. When you got 27 names to talk about all the time, sometimes you can blank on it. Joshua Holland is the other Boss Scout kid. So 5 total essential corners in this class already. So will they be able to get the likes of Arrington and more? We'll see. We'll see what that potentially can look like. But that the big thing about this Hill commitment, aside from 5 stars, the talent, the all that stuff, is he already said he's shutting down his recruitment. Right? I wrote about it after he committed. He told On3 in an interview, I don't know if it was with Wilt Fong or even our buddy Scott Schrader. But yeah, told On3 he shut down his recruitment. He had official visits still scheduled with Oregon and Alabama after USC's official visit in June 6th. Those are now canceled. So, a lock, essentially. Barring something unforeseen happening, Elbert Hill is committed and will be here on signing day in December. Taking no more visits, recruitment shut down. Fantastic. Those are like the big kind of monumental things. A commitment's one thing. Shutting down a recruitment, in my opinion, is like the engagement. And then signing days signing days like the marriage. Obviously marriages can end in divorce, hence the transfer portal. But a commitment, to me, it doesn't work this way. But a commitment would be like, okay, I'm not dating anyone else, even though most of these prospects still do. But that's how I would view it. I'm not going to commit until I'm not dating anyone else. But shutting down the recruitment, then, at least in these guys' eyes, to me, is like, that's the engagement now. We're engaged. Not married yet. Things can, unfortunately, fall through. We've seen many people have their engagements end before the marriage happens. That can happen, but it's a lot tighter bond and a lot less likely that something will happen, till you get to the marriage point, till you get to signing day. So hopefully that makes sense. So I think when a player announces they're shutting down the recruitment, that to me is a huge thing. Brandon Lockhart as well, which I don't think anyone had any doubt he was staying at USC. He's been committed since 2023, I think November of 23. He's been like the advocate for this class, for USC, for bringing the program back. But officially today, he shut down his recruitment as well. So don't know how much he had been taking other visits. I hadn't really heard of any, to be honest with you. But yeah, officially he shut down his recruitment. I don't think that's a real surprise, but still good news nonetheless. Hill, I thought this was kind of cool. Hill's father spoke in an interview about what he liked about USC and about kind of what they did during this recruiting to make the decision that much, I don't know about easier, but to make it feel like the right decision. And I think when you think about recruiting from a kind of micro level, you think of like, okay, what does the team look like? What was the record last year? What's the vision for, the program's future? What are the facilities like? What's your plan on getting my kid to the NFL? Even if he's a 3-star, 2-star, whatever, how are you going to develop my kid to get him to the NFL, which is the ultimate goal? That's the micro view of recruiting, right? The macro is like, well, what else is there to offer at this program, at this university, at this city that makes this decision even better? And so Hill said, quote, "Then what they have to offer him, the ultimate goal is to play on Sundays, but it's life after football with him going into business and real estate. They put us in a room with real estate moguls. Everything aligns. Everything just fits. We got to spend time with some big-time alumni, real estate people that are alumni at USC. That was great." And we've heard of this before. I don't think it gets talked about enough. But there's been a lot of times during recruiting where they'll have talk about the kid, what major they want to be, and they'll bring a professor in, or they'll bring alumni that works in that field to meet them. There's a lot of USC football players of the past, USC football alumni, that even if they went to the NFL, are now in other professions and work other jobs and still are involved in the program. Frosty Rucker, my good buddy, being one of them. Dude played 13 years in the NFL, but he's now retired. What is he doing? He's an entrepreneur. He works with investments. He has a bunch of other things. He's been able to talk to guys. And so someone in real estate been able to talk. So I think that's super powerful. And I'm sure other programs do that. But I think at USC, the network USC has with the alumni, but then just being in Los Angeles, I mean, it's pretty powerful. It's pretty powerful. A lot of schools have great alumni. Oregon, Alabama, Ohio State. But that network is not going to be as robust as what you have in Los Angeles. Because the alumni of the school is also going to have crazy connections just because of the way LA is. Like, if you're in Tuscaloosa, your connections are probably going to be away from Tuscaloosa. Most likely. I'm sure a lot of the big alumni of Alabama probably live in LA, depending on what the profession is. So just another powerful thing. So Elbert Hill, I think it's a huge commitment. Hats off. Doug Belk just absolutely killing it. Doug Belk, Coach Trevon Reed, just absolutely killing it. And then the other staffer, director of recruiting, Weston Zernekel, got a huge shout out that he was highly involved in this recruitment. And that's what I said kind of at the beginning of the show. Chad Bowden and his staff are so important in the recruiting and the retention because of how involved they are in this relationship building. So the coaches really set the precedent, but I bet you anything, Weston Zernekel was one of the ones that was integral in kind of making the connections with the real estate moguls and bringing in the alumni and then just continual communication while the coaches are coaching during spring camp. So the staff is just so much in a better place for this. So let me know your guys' thoughts on Elbert Hill. I think this is a huge one. Obviously, still would love to see, a Brandon Arrington potentially or Devon Benjamin. But if they end up choosing elsewhere, I mean, this is a solid corner class. Like I said, 5 corners now, 3 blue chippers, and the 2, Madden and Holland, are both very talented, underrated 3 stars. So, if those other 2 I mentioned were to choose elsewhere, USC's in a really good spot for who they got. All right, quickly, I won't spend time. I always end up talking more than I plan. I was like, I'll jump on, talk for 8 to 10 minutes, and here we are pushing 15, going to 20. So, but Luc Weaver, 4-star wide receiver out of Sherman Oaks, commits today. 6'3", 6'4", 200 pounds. Prototypical kind of outside receiver, big body. He's the 5th now receiver in this class, joining Trent Mosley, Roderick Tenizo, who obviously just joined or committed on Wednesday. Jamiron or Tron Baker and Cohen Brown. So the 5th receiver in this class. We'll see how many more they add. Just based on Chad Savage's comments on Wednesday, kind of mentioning 2 more inside guys, I don't see this latest one as an inside guy. I see him as an outside receiver for sure. So, and I think Tizino can kind of play both, has the ability to play both. I think there's a lot of versatility. Trent Mosley can kind of play both. 5 right now, 6 or 7 feels like a lot of receivers, but when you're having a 35 player class, you're gonna have those position groups. There's gonna be some that are pretty ballooned, and obviously you hope you can develop and keep all of them. But with the age of transfer portal, if you get 6 or 7, you may see 3 or 4 make it all the way through till they decide to go into the draft or graduate. But right now you're just planning on like building this group and what you can do with them, and not you're not worrying about the transfer portal in 2 years. So 5 feels like a lot. I'm sure many think they're done. I wouldn't be shocked to see 1 or 2 more. I wouldn't be shocked to see this class finish at 6 or 7, just because it's still pretty early and there's still some big names out there that we know USC is pushing after. Keaton Dixon Wyatt being one of those from modern day, and so I wouldn't be shocked if we still see another name. But for now, 5 is the number. Luc Weaver, I think this is a great addition. Probably a little lesser known just because he didn't play in like the Trinity League necessarily. Didn't play with the the Bosco and the Modern Days or the Santa Margaritas of the world. But Sherman Oaks, local kid, a lot of talent, great size, like I mentioned, and another just really good addition for Dennis Simmons and Chad Savage, who was involved in his recruitment as well, and obviously Lincoln Riley. So. Yeah, I'll keep that one short and sweet, but yeah, another big one. So USC, this momentum it's wild, guys. It's wild. 27 commitments. I think that's 13 more than the next Power 5, Power 4. Are we back to Power 5 yet? I guess Pac-12 is not official yet, right? Power 4 program. Like 13 more? That's insane. And now 4, 5 stars? So everyone in the past like, oh, you have all these, but you don't have any 5 stars. Now they got 4. I have 4. And trending for more, right? Ryder Lions trending. Prediction for. Talanoa Ely, I think, is widely a 4-star, but, dude's a 5-star. Tom, dude's a 5-star. Tearing it up right now at Elite 11s. When this season's done, he'll be a 5-star, I think. Or a top 4-star. His rating on 3 is laughable, if we're being honest. So RJ Sermon's a 5-star now. Brandon Lockhart could end up being a 5-star or close to it. He's already elite, like what we say, top 8 corner as a 4-star, and might even jump up if he has a really good season at Loyola, and he's killing it on all the circuits. RJ Sermon's 5-star, bumped up to 5-star. He's fantastic. So this class can just keep going up, and it's impressive what they're doing, how they're doing it, why they're doing it, and the intention they're doing it with. And that momentum, I continue to believe, will spill over to this current team. To me, and I'll wrap up with this, and this is not on recruiting. This team's success this year comes down to quarterback play. Obviously, a lot of factors, right? The offensive line has to play better. The front 7 needs to play better. So we need to see that. But based on everything that's happened in the offseason, they addressed the front 7. maybe the deepest, most talented group in the Big Ten. You could for sure say probably top 3 with everyone. Michigan lost and Ohio State lost in the draft. Obviously, they'll retool those. Oregon lost as well in the draft. USC, you could argue, have the deepest front 7 on the defensive side. Certainly night and day difference from last year. So no matter what, it's going to be better than last year. The offensive line, I think there's questions about the offensive line. I love the additions of Wingfield and Reed. And obviously Tobias Raymond, that'll be the big, how did he develop from last year to this year, kind of taking over most likely that starting right tackle spot. Elijah Page, can he play with consistency? We saw some games and look like elite tackle. Some games he's coming out of the halftime and not getting, whatever story you believe, getting replaced at halftime. So what Elijah Page will we see? But I think overall, the offensive line will be better than last year. I think we talked about it last episode, but with Coach Hansen moving from tight end to line, I think that potentially is an upgrade as an offensive line coach in terms of technique and scheme. So we'll see what that looks like. Running backs look to be elite and deep. Wide receiver, Jacoby Lane and Mekhi Lemon are going to have unbelievable seasons this year. Secondary, one returning starter outside of Kamari Ramsey, but I feel like the group is going to be just as good, if not better. When you look at the additions of Harvey and Fitzgerald, plus the development now and the growth of Christian Pierce and Marcellus Williams and obviously DeCarlos Nicholson coming back. So quarterback is really the one position that is what the season's going to ride on. Because if Jaden Maiava can play like the Jaden Maiava of the second half of the Texas A&M Las Vegas bowl game, if Jaden Maiava can play like the Jaden Maiava of the Nebraska game in spurts, this USC team is going to have a really successful year. I don't want to get to predict. We're so far away. I got to see more in fall camp, but they will have a successful year. How you define success, everyone may be a little different. For me this year, it's 9+ wins. 9+ wins is a successful year this year. If Maiava plays like that, no question. If Maiava plays like he did in the first half of the A&M game or like the fourth quarter of the Notre Dame game, this could be a very interesting season. I still think they have enough, and Lincoln Riley says he feels good about where the quarterback room is, that any of the guys can start, meaning Hussein Longstreak already, Sam Heward. But they obviously will not have the trajectory that they could if Maiava plays like the Maiava that we've seen in the good moments. It's an obvious take. It's not rocket science, right? Usually your season is defined by how your quarterback plays. It's pretty obvious. But like 2 years ago, when the team went 8-5 with Caleb Williams, like they didn't go 8-5 because Caleb Williams didn't play good, right? Like Caleb Williams was still Caleb Williams. Everything around him kind of crumbled. This year, I think everything around Maiava will be really solid, and it's kind of going to be up to him to take it to that next level. I don't think, even if he's not great, I don't think they're going to be like a dumpster fire. I really don't. Maybe I'm too optimistic, but I just don't. But if he can elevate his game, play smart football, successful season. So we'll wrap it up with that. Another big recruiting win for this Trojans. The train rolls on. Let me know your guys' thoughts. I'm actually launching a forum probably today. I know I teased that a few episodes ago. I'm still trying to build it out. So bear with me. It's not going to look all pretty, I'm sure, at first. But yeah, we're going to launch a forum on LAFBnetwork.com so we can put recruiting news there. Obviously, we have articles up there. But I would love to get your guys' more thoughts in real time within the forum. Obviously, commenting on YouTube is fantastic as well. But yes, I should get that up today, hopefully this weekend. So by next episode, I will officially announce that the forum, the LAFB USC forum, is live, where we can all talk everything going on with our Trojans. So thank you as always. Hit that like and subscribe button if you have not already. USC LAFB is the YouTube channel. If you prefer audio, Apple, Spotify, just search Salute to Troy. And as I always say, everything can be found on the LAFB network. That's LAFBnetwork.com. I'm Ryan Darrett. Everyone have a fantastic weekend. And as always, fight on.